that you find, most interesting to you, that brings out the best in yourself. What are you doing it for? What is the intention of this? Do you want to be famous, or do you want to be an artist? Because great art, you'll be rewarded with it and for it, right? Whether it's fame, money, everything you ever wanted. If you just focus on that and you do that really well at the highest
Everything will
level,
come.
everything is coming. So it's just like my mentor used to tell me, like, just worry about being funny. Be the funniest one in the room. Like, be hilarious. Be a killer.
You just have
Be a
to be
well-rounded machine and stand up.
consistent, the
That's all you need to focus
momentum.
about. That's it. Don't think about
Things will
anything else,
come,
because everything else
inshallah.
will work itself out. As long as you're the one knocking them out, you're okay. Like, don't worry about anything else. That was really sound advice. It was about
في شيء
focusing on
في
the art, being
الإيموتات
great
من
at what you
التلفون. I
do.
don't know
Everything else
what.
falls into place.
إذا حطيت
So
إيموت
I hope that
ثاني
happens.
مو بإيموتات
If you
القناة
get into it
يبين.
because you
ما
want to be
أعرف
famous,
ليش.
you want to be 15 minutes, that's not going to be like a worthy trek for me. Might as well do something else. For real.
You talk about
Hi
comedy
Trolley,
and,
long
going
time.
at an interesting
أخبار.
age, very young. Was comedy a medicine? I mean, does it mask your pain? Because I've read a lot that comedians, cover all that. They make everything humorous, even their depression or suicidal thoughts, or anything funny or any key message comes through comedy because it's received more. Breaking racism or breaking stereotypes. So many things you can do through the beauty of the art of comedy.
Right.
I remember
But
the
is
name.
it a mask in the end of the day of a human who's going through so much, but they make it light?
I mean, I think it can be. It can be a mask. It depends on like the artist, right? Everybody's a little bit different. For me, it was unintentionally therapeutic. I didn't know it was going to be therapeutic for me. It's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do when I was 10 years old. I figured it out that I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I didn't know I was going to lose my father 4 years later, and
Okay.
I was going to be skipping class, and my teacher's going to bring me back and, let me do stand-up in class and then take me to theater arts department. I didn't know all this. And I always say that it started with me, at 10 years old when I saw stand-up comedy in Houston for the first time at the rodeo. But really, it started when I was 7, and we were in بالقاهرة, وأنا وأبوي وأمي
It depends, Trolley.
وأخوي وأبوي أخذنا على مدرسة والسيد الشغال. أخذنا شفت عادل إمام live. I was 7 years old. I was like laughing. I don't even know what the hell I was laughing at. I was just like laughing
Alhamdulillah.
and seeing it. I was
Alhamdulillah,
just very
الخبر
inspired.
الحلو.
See what Sayyid al-Shaghal at 7 years old, see Adil Imam live like in his prime. Very cool thing to experience. I think definitely Akid it was planted there at 7. And then who could have ever figured out that the war was going to happen 3 years later? Boom, we have to move to Houston. Next thing you know, I see stand-up comedy for the first time. Like, that's it. It's crazy. Nobody could have figured that out. But it is therapeutic. It has been that way for me. It's a way of like expression, frustration, anything. Comedy could be angry, it could be fun, it could be like, it depends. You could be whatever you.
What
like, you could be
exactly are
frustrated
you
on stage
thinking
and people
about,
will laugh
Trolley?
at it.
When
Like
you
the
said
pandemic thing, the
electric?
Muhammad in Texas, that pandemic bit is like 7 minutes long or whatever, just talking about, it's not pandemic, it's about like the frustration with politics, the frustration with humanity, the fact that everybody's like selfish and thinking about themselves, the confusion that runs around it, this like capturing that moment like that and seeing that. I was really frustrated. Like I wasn't trying to be funny. I was like really mad. And the first time I tried it, I was just going off. And I went on a rant and I must have been going like 100 miles an hour. And it was so good. Everybody's like, I don't know what that is you just did, but I've never seen you do that. But it's so good for us to see you so mad and frustrated, relieved us. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So it could be therapeutic to the
لا
artist.
يعني
It could be
anything in your
dark, it
mind
could
when
be
you said
bad,
like
it
if I
depends
do
on
electrical
the human
stuff,
being and what
like
they're
are
going
you
through. And I think for me, specifically, like having faith and
like what kind of electrical
understanding that,
stuff, or do
that
you
there's,
are you thinking of doing
that we're
something?
travelers and we are going somewhere after this, is what helps me stay grounded and like, hey, there's no reason to rush it. If you're thinking, if you're feeling suicidal as an artist, like there's no reason to, buddy. Don't worry. If there's anything that's guaranteed, is your exit. That's the only thing. So don't worry about that and focus on the present and being great at what you do.
And how was your relationship with your parents growing up?
Fantastic. Dad worked all the time. Dad worked, but he's incredibly artistic person as well. Took pictures all the time and always had the dopest technology. He was a telecommunications engineer. So he always had he was always hip to all the new phones, of course, but all the new tech, audio, video. It was very cool to be around that, and great relationship. My mom and I are very, very close. Like classic Arab mom relationship. If you don't answer the phone, something's terrible. Something's going on. And, we have to talk every day, multiple times a day, to feel at ease. Very, very close. Very good relationship.
What is something you learned from each lesson?
Man, my mom, how long do you have, bro? So much.
It's part of building.
Obviously, I've had a lot more time with my mother. For my father, I would say the going for it, believing in something and going for it, even though it's not very popular. I could tell my dad was, after hearing his stories, is that he's someone who took what he loved seriously and pursued that to the fullest and didn't care what people thought. And he was right. I think he was right to do that. And it was very inspiring. My mom is perseverance, oh my God, the ability to stretch whatever whatever money she was making, whatever she was doing, to make it feel like it was, 10 times more, to the compassion, the iman, the faith, the poetry. My mom was she's a poet. She's an incredibly sophisticated mind and wordsmith, and just the ability to come up with
No, you can't.
These anecdotes to life, and she's just an incredible
You mean dip
person.
the switches?
Yeah.
That's nice, man.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Very.
That hit you.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
No, you
Why?
can't. You'll destroy them.
Special. Just remembering some of her poems. It's cool. Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah, her name, Amina. Yeah, Amina. You know what I'm saying?
I'm very close to my mom, so
yeah.
I can see.
Tell me.
Ask me.
How has your mom inspired you? Tell me something about your mother.
Well, my mom is Hala. Your mom is Amna.
MashaAllah.
We're lucky, man.
Very.
We are really lucky. My mom, I call her my first school. She's my foundation.
Yeah.
Cute.
And I'm really curious, why such a special and sensitive thing is your mom to you?
Come on, man. You just picking, what is this, Oprah? You make everybody cry or something? What's happening? Oh, why is my mom special to me? Why is air important to you?
Why is
air?
air.
Breathing air.
Well,
why is water? Yeah.
Because a lot of people more miss what you have or don't know the blessing that they have. Some people don't talk to their parents for years.
Crazy.
And for me, that's alien.
Yeah, it's alien. When I see people hey, I haven't talked to my mom in a week, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? Yeah. How could you not talk to your parents for a week? It's just so weird it's a completely foreign concept to me. My mother is a true
شنو Arabic كان قصدك؟ ما فهمت.
Just stabilizing the earth. She really
I didn't
is
understand.
Just an incredibly powerful person with little words, very soft, very sweet, very kind, but you could tell oh man, this is a soldier. You know what I mean? They don't make them like that. It's rare, very, very rare. And all of her sisters and her brother are like that. They're all like that. They're like my mom's. It's incredible. I'm so lucky for sure. Alhamdulillah. Allah yahmiyum.
Ameen. It's beautiful.
Yeah, enough, bro, with moms, bro. You're killing me, bro. What are you doing? That's why in the series I chose Yamo. I wanted to put, Yamo in the episode,
Mm.
it was so important to me. Like seeing my dad only cry on 2 different occasions when my grandmother passed away, and when he saw that scene from Gawar and singing Yamo. And I remember looking around, I was like 6, maybe. But it was such a powerful moment because I was looking at all the adults in the room and they're all in shambles.
بس ما تقدر تلومه
It's the
يعني
first time because, Arabs were all in control.
لما هو من
No
صغره
crying, nothing.
عايش برا بس he's not
Wallah.
acting as an American.
And you look around and
He
everybody's like
still has his faith, his إيمان وكل شيء.
captivated
He's
by
a
this
really
classic
يعني
TV
في
show.
ناس أقول لك ينسون كل
And
شيء.
I was like, man,
بس
I
إنه
didn't
this
know that I
guy
was going to
لا
use it in my own
بالعكس
series.
يحترم دينه
30
يحترم
years later. It's
التقاليد
pretty incredible. And Sohail Nafar,
I
man,
don't
our
see
music
anything wrong
supervisor,
with
was
him.
able to track it down because he said, man, Mo,
Not
I
talking
don't know,
about
bro.
him, yeah.
This is going to be a very hard song to get approval for it. I was like, listen,
Yeah,
I will stop everything.
I know what you
I will
mean.
fly to Syria. I will go find Darid Laham. Like, tell me where he is. If that's what I got to do, that's what I have to. And I was very serious. I was like, I'll go there. I was like, I will fly there. I will meet with him. Whoever I got to meet with, I will do it personally. And he goes, no, I'm going to try again. He got in touch with Darid Laham. He was able to get in communication with him, get him to write me a letter approving that I could use the song for the series. And what a powerful moment, just like in my dedication to my mom. That's why I named the episode Yamo. And I put it in the series 30 years later while she's making olive oil. It was the most beautiful, it was like one of my favorite parts of making the show.
That's so nice. And you know why it's nice? Because you give a shit. You want to do it with your heart. Because a lot of people are like, it's inconvenient, skip, right?
Yeah.
But you said I'd even fly to Syria. And I think that shows that you're true to your craft.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, unfortunately, like you said, why are you in it? Are you in it because of the popularity, the money, the fame?
Yeah.
Which is fine, but shouldn't be your main goal. If it's a byproduct, no problem.
Sure.
But why are you even doing it? Because if it's for that, the moment you don't get money, guess what? You're going to stop. The moment you don't get enough likes and fame, you're going to be like, fuck this. I don't want to even do this.
Exactly. That's not the purpose for it. And I was dead serious. Like I would find, there's certain things that you just like, let go. We'll find something else. We'll figure out throughout the, like musically or whatever the thing is. This was non-negotiable. This was like, no, we're doing this. Like, I have to figure it out. Click. Sorry. Get to work. And so, hell, I got to give it up to him, man. He really, really came through. For a lot of stuff, like in the music, on the music side, he was our music supervisor for the show. But that was a huge, huge deal for me. A big, big deal. And for the Arab world, like, hey, this is something that, yes, it's something I battled with my whole life. Like, مولود بالكويت رحنا على Houston, Texas, but then it's like you go visit the Arab world and they're like, ده أمريكي. Well, لا yeah, but not really. Like, I'm from it. Yeah, you come back to America, like, where are you born overseas? Oh, he's from over there. So where the hell do I belong? I'm like in the middle. I'm like in limbo. It's like, no, I'm both. This is what makes me who I am. It's like for the music in the show. I was like, what kind of music will they have for the show? I was like, well, I want to have a little bit of Palestinian folk music. This is who I am. A little bit Syrian folk music, Shami region. A little bit hip hop, a little bit jazz, a little bit country, a little bit bluegrass. This is what you get when you have a place called like the United States of America where somebody travels from another part of the world that is influenced and influences his surroundings. You have somebody like me?
You know, a lot of Arabs struggle with the third culture kid status, that they feel, and I've heard it so many times, and people also recommended that I do a special episode with 3 different people.
That'd be cool.
That can talk about this, because you have it in every country in the Arab world, you have it in Europe, you have it in the States, where these Arabs have migrated and nobody wants them. Like, nobody would give them the credit that they're with them. So the Arabs say, you're the foreigner, like you said.
Yeah.
And that country say, no, you're the Arab.
Yeah.
And then they feel an identity, I don't want to call it a crisis, but confusion.
Yeah. Some people it is a crisis. Some people, they spiral out. They don't feel they belong anywhere. Like, people get super depressed really easy, quickly. People's, mental and spiritual state is really vulnerable. You can easily lose it so quickly. So the compassion thing is very important, you know. Holding to that, not just joking it away, like, and you get to America, like, this fucking guy is not from here. Like, no, man, I'm a compassionate person. I'm thoughtful of both worlds. I'm actually the best asset for you.
You're the bridge.
A bridge, exactly. It creates such a, whether it wasn't on purpose, it just happened. You know, it's not like I walk around like, I'm going to be the bridge between East and West. Who the fuck says that? Like, it's weird. You know, it's such an egomaniac would only say that. To me, it's just like telling stories that I saw that there was like, not even a gap. It doesn't exist in modern American Western culture where we've influenced it so much and they've exported so much from us, without any credit whatsoever.
Wait till Futura, you can have it.
And our stories don't exist on that level in mainstream global culture. And that's why I'm like grateful to have the show on Netflix and to make something that I know
جاهزة حق
will last
الفطور
forever.
بالعافية من الحين قلنا.
The Netflix show is an actual depiction or reflection of what you went through?
I think it's like a really grounded experience of what I went through. And there was a lot of it that was like copy paste, you know, like at the end of episode 7, that really happened to us. Beginning of episode 7, that really happened to us. You know, I was recreating memories in that scenario. Showing my mom, she's like, "How did you do this?" Like, it's like, yeah, pictures, memory, and she couldn't believe it. Like, almost floored by it. Whether it be fish out of water in Houston as a little kid when I first got to, you know, 5th grade. So just having that experience and what that's like. There's so much. I'm not addicted to lean. I'm not addicted to drugs. Nothing like that. So
kind of experiment.
This is the way you like can fictionalize it and give yourself a character to play and add more dimension to the story. And it's commentary on people who try to cope and self-medicate and try to figure it out, which is extremely common, way more than you think.
Correct.
And so whether it be like with medicine or with something else, habits, bad habits in general.
I think even the drug thing in your character is so important, Mo, because also in Arabic societies, we like to put things under the rug, like everything is cool. Until the rug is like this, and everybody's like not even addressing it.
It's fine. Just step over it.
All is good. So, but we have that problem because we find it embarrassing instead of just addressing the elephant in the room. So I think by showing an Arab character who's gone through challenges of migration, refugee, trying to make it. I remember the show where you're trying to sell things and you're trying to do this and the social security issue. So how does a human being cope with that? And some people succumb to meds or drugs or whatnot. And I think we need to talk about this because some family members are doing that.
Absolutely.
How can we help them?
Exactly.
Rather than ignore them.
Exactly. And I think that recognition of it is one, not being secretive about it is two, like having real conversations and understanding where it's coming from and what are you suppressing? What is the thing that you're trying to stop from coming out? And maybe sometimes it's just feeling it. Feeling it is just so intense. How you feel something and how I feel something is completely different. Where I feel it way more intense than you do, could be. And you need that. You feel like you need that. So it's just a fascinating thing to do, like to explore as, you know, as an artist within a series. To play that definitely gave me more dimension and more layers to my character. It was like, whoa, I've never done that before. It was fascinating to do it. Even in like episode 7 when he's having the withdrawals, I remember Slick, our director, was phenomenal. Slick Nia was incredible. And he was just like, okay, you're having withdrawals. I want you to take it all the way. I was like, all the way, all the way? He was like, all the way. Like, you're in you know, take me through the whole progression. So we were in there for like 7 minutes, like filming me just losing myself. I almost threw up. Like I was so in it, I fooled my brain where I almost like started sweating, and that was a real thing at the end there. Like it was too real. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, that's it. He was like, fine, cut. you're good. It was like one of those moments. So it's interesting to explore that and see what that's like and what that could do to you personally in that moment when you're trying to bring that character out.
What is
Yeah, I think it's important, man. Like the conversation needs to happen. People need to get help when they can. It's hard
بس
to ask.
يصير في
It's hard to
ترهل
ask.
وايد really.
Like to admit that you either have a problem or there's any issue, whether it be like a drug issue or a spiritual issue. It's hard. You're scared of judgment and you have all these projections and fears. And most of the time, it's just catastrophizing, where you're creating these scenarios in your head, and it's not really true. People are most of the time very compassionate and want to help each other.
So
I think so, especially if you
I
have
believe
good,
so.
decent people around you. There's always going to be one guy who's like, shake it off, bro, man up. You know, but that guy needs help too.
More than you.
More than you.
That's true. Been married?
Yep, I was married.
What did you learn about Muhammad after your marriage?
What I learned about myself after, I know what I want and don't want in life. You know, like I learned that. I learned that patience is really important, and also like sometimes a bad thing. You know, like when it's not right, it's not right. And when it feels good, it should be like easy. Relationships should be easy. Like partnership should be, for the most part, I believe. And I mean that easy, like it should be like really healthy and uplifting to each other and solid for one another, and the clear communication. And communication is super key. I think communication is probably like one of the top things in a relationship. Understanding each other and being in full communication with one another is like where it's at.
You know, I think